Hey guys, Tisha here, and I almost exposed you all. I started recording and I was talking, and little by little the camera was like, "Grr," and I'm clearly in a robe, and I was like, oh goodness, let me not show the people my goodies. But welcome back. We are here to discuss Sister Wives Season 7. For some reason, TLC thought we wanted to take a whole hour to see a family go on this trip for spring break and not even arrive at their destination. So the Browns are heading to Missouri to meet these these biblical polygamists. Apparently, they reached out to the Browns and now they're interested in wanting to meet them. They make this big deal about the fact that they're biblical polygamists. I don't quite understand what the difference is between their faith and the others, but I guess we'll learn more about that once they finally see them. The younger girls are sitting on the couch excited to go on this trip. Truly, as little as she is, saying that she loves going on trips because she loves her family. She's always been such a smart kid. When she was little, I used to love watching Truly. Anyways, the teens aren't excited about it. Hunter is frustrated because he rather enjoy spring break with his friends, go swimming, hang out, things of that nature. Instead, he said he's going to be stuck in an RV all day, every day. They had every reason to be annoyed with the fact that they had to go on this trip, but this is their family. And unfortunately, when you're a child, you have to do the things that your parents request of you, which one of them is to go on this trip. So Cody talks about how he's going to unload half of his clothes in one RV and another half in the other RV. Janelle and Christine are going to be staying in the RVs, where Mary and Robin are going to be staying in the hotels. And I guess that their kids stay in the hotels with them, but we'll get to that later. I don't understand why Cody feels the need to put some clothes in one RV and some in the other. I feel like he always has to overcomplicate things, because he later tells us about this duffel bag that he has and how what he'll do is he'll take that duffel bag from RV to RV and hotel room to hotel room. So if that's the case, then just go ahead and just put all your things in one RV. The whole, I got to do this in separate RVs, because at this point, it's just like the RV is just like my house, where I have all these different clothes and all these different houses. And now I'm going to have to do that with the RV. Cody wears flannel shirts and jeans with an occasional button-down shirt and some slacks. Get a couple pairs, keep them at each house, and keep it moving. Everything always has to be so overcomplicated. He doesn't have to do all that running back and forth for that, but this is what he does. And I just don't understand it. So before they leave for Missouri, they have a Sister Wives Closet meeting. They were originally told by the company that they would be receiving $250,000 to $500,000 within 4 to 6 weeks. At this point, it's been 8 weeks and they do not have the funding. Seems a little unprofessional to me. I doubt that they would have done this with another company. Makes me feel like maybe the person that they did this pitch to, the people that they did this pitch to, didn't have the money, because why is it taking so long and why don't you have more answers? The group is supposed to have their funding, but Stan told Cody they don't have it yet and they're just waiting. So was Stan's company pulling their leg? Because I just don't understand why what should have been 4 to 6 weeks is now 8, but that's not my lane. If you understand why something like that may happen, put it down below. The Birds said it's something that they agreed to do, so they should do it. And Cody says they don't have the money to hand to us at this point. That's just the way it is. She wants to know if they should go somewhere else. And Robin says how frustrated she is because she doesn't need yet another wall in the way of her dream business. I just feel like it's always about Robin. It's always about Cody. Y'all really didn't need that much money anyways, because people weren't going to buy your products whether you had 250 or you had 2.5 million, because unless you're improving the product and making it something more marketable to everyone, it's just going to sit there and you're going to continue to have people like me who are nosy and and just went on the site to see what you had. So Cody says that without this money, what he needs to do is he needs to reevaluate, and they need to figure out where to go from there. There was absolutely no purpose for this meeting because they came to no conclusions, and that is something that he could have easily had a conversation with them with over the phone, or just stand in the middle of the cul-de-sac and do it. But to sit there and have this meeting is stupid. He's such a great CEO. We then get back to the RVs. They point out how these ones are nicer than the other ones. Cody says he is not trying to have a repeat of last trip. In other words, he doesn't want to deal with the attitudes and things like that. He doesn't want them to have the blow-ups because their trip to Nauvoo was horrible. I want to know whose idea it was to take this trip, especially in these RVs, because a lot of the adults seem reluctant. The bird is over here saying how she vowed that she would never go on another RV trip again after the last trip, but here she is. Her bald eagle is saying how when they start thinking about the trip, that all of them get anxiety because of the last one and because of all the drama that comes with it. I'm like, okay, if you all feel this badly about the trip, why take it? These people, prior to all of this, they really didn't hang out with each other. And I'm starting to believe more and more the things that Christine is telling us about how some of the things that we witnessed only were happening basically because of filming. They talk about what time they leave. They would love to leave at 8:30, but ideally Cody says that they're going to leave at 9. And all of us who have watched the show know that it's not going to happen. It's the next morning. Today they're supposed to be doing 340 miles to Arizona. Mindy is being presented as Robin and Cody's niece, and she's going to be driving the van. Also understand that Mindy is the nanny, and she's there to help Robin, because that's the same person that was leaning on the counter that 2 reviews ago. I was like, who do y'all know who that lady is that's leaning on the counter with her arms crossed? That's Mindy. And Mindy is Cody and Robin's, which means that's Robin's niece. That's there to help Robin, because Robin always had a nanny. Since she's been in the family, Robin has had someone helping her with her children. Mindy is going to be driving the van. She does not want any children with bad attitudes in her van, or she's kicking them out, according to Cody. That's fair, which to me means if you want kids with no attitudes, that majority of the kids in your van might have been the little kids, because it seems like some of the older kids did have attitudes. Now, it wasn't a lot of older kids there, but we kept hearing about the older kids. I think Hunter was the oldest. No, Maddie was the oldest kid there, and then Hunter. Mary will be driving. It's 8 o'clock and she's ready to go. The fact that Mary is sitting here at 8 o'clock with her 2 bags saying she's ready to go, and we don't see her leaving to help do anything, kind of annoyed me, because it's you. Your child isn't there. Your child isn't going on the trip. Go help people. Mykelti, Aspen, Logan, and Leon are not going. And all Cody can think about when he brings this to our attention is not that they're going to miss the memories. It's not that he wishes they could come because he wants to spend time with them, but it's that these kids are great resources, and we're losing great resources that help with the smaller children. Because as we've noticed and we've said time and time again, the older kids were parentified, and they were oftentimes put in charge of their siblings and told to watch their siblings like their siblings are their responsibility. I'm an older sibling, so I get it. Yeah, you're told sometimes to look after your sibling, but not to the degree where it's always expected. Like, when do they get to just be? Cody wants the teens to not have bad attitudes because he feels like if they have the bad attitudes, then it will then mess up the trip because it will trickle down to the little kids. We then see him talking to Garrison. And this conversation with Garrison reminds me every now and then why he used to get on my nerves, because Garrison is a little jerk. I'm sorry. I know he's a kid at this point, but little kids can be jerks too. He says, I'm the general. Garrison, you are the sergeant. Garrison tells his father, I don't care, and starts walking away. Cody then says to him, "You're going to do what I say, and you're not going to question it, okay?" Garrison then responds, "You know what happened in the Russian Revolution?" He says, "They ended up shooting their sergeants shooting their generals because they didn't like the orders that they were being given." Cody hears this and says nothing. And when he said it, he had a little smirk on his face like, "Yeah, what you gonna say now, Dad? I dare you to say something." Those kids were given too much leeway with the way that they spoke to their parents sometimes. And I didn't like it. Let's be clear, I do not like Cody, but I don't like grown children either. I don't. Garrison was a smart aleck, and he was very intelligent, and he threw that in his dad's face, and his dad didn't even acknowledge it. Maybe Cody felt like if he did, it would blow up into something else, but I just didn't like it. So it's 25 minutes until the scheduled time, for them to leave. Christine needs to pack what's left of the cold stuff in the cooler because it didn't all fit in the refrigerators that are in the RV. They don't have enough room. And Truly has disappeared because she's mad with Christine. This would have been a great time for her to call Mary and ask Mary to come over and help her because, as I said before, Mary didn't have any other children to concern herself with, so this would have been great for her to help. But as we know, they didn't work together as much as they presented. Cody goes back to the anxiety thing because they tend to have drama because they all are in small spaces together. And this is the man who gave us this whole spill about the drama and stuff that they had together. And then he says he doesn't understand why his wives are stressed. They have to travel with each other. It's not a big deal. It really seems simple to him. You just sat here and talked about the drama and the anxiety of it all. Of course they feel stressed. It's no big deal to Cody because Cody doesn't do anything. Watch Cody when they're preparing for these trips. You don't see him go grocery shopping. You don't see him put the groceries in order. He doesn't plan how things are going to be loaded and unloaded. All Cody does is stand there and act like he's done something. The wives get themselves together as well as their multiple children, and he just runs from house to house looking for things that make it look like he's so busy when he's really not. We've seen Mary help pack a van. We saw that night Robin and them carrying things to the van. Cody chills out. Mary said to get things to flow, people need to calm down. In other words, Cody needs to calm down because no sooner after she says that, we pan into production looking the camera directed towards Cody. And I think it's Isabel out there, one of the kids. He's fussing because she's barefoot, and I guess she's been going in and out of the RV, and he's like, "You track your bare feet crap off this concrete, and then you put it on the tile with your bare feet." I'm sorry, sir. Shoes do the same thing. One of the first things that you do when you come into my place is that you take your shoes off. You're not allowed to walk in my house with shoes on because outside is dirty and you track stuff in. Now, if you need a pair of booties or something like that, I'm happy to give them to you. A pair of socks as well. But don't come walking around my house with your dirty shoes. I don't do it, and neither should you. So you over here acting like her having bare feet in the RV is the issue. Tell her to just find her shoes and keep it at that. But Cody nitpicks sometimes about stuff that doesn't even matter. Before they get on the RVs, he lets them know he doesn't want to hear any complaining or whining on this trip. We then have Christine, who says not having Aspen and Mykelti on this trip makes her feel a little lost because she relies on them a lot. Once again, just showing how much these kids did. They finally leave. It's almost 10 o'clock. They stand on a corner once they arrive to Arizona. That is mentioned in some song because this is yet another one of the things that the adults want to do. Because of how large the group is, they feel like this is the most people that the town has seen. And Robin says that whenever she sees people looking at them, she just feels the need to let the people know that they're so large because they're a plural family. She kind of doesn't even give them the chance to ask questions. And I just feel like that's just yet another way of them wanting to make sure that everybody knows that they're polygamous, whatever. They meet Tom, who's the owner of the store. He loves the Brown family and the fact that their show is showing them exercise their First Amendment right. And he's very happy to meet them. We then have Cody, who says one of the things that he loves about them going public is that they can own their relationships and show them in every way. We didn't really see all the ways now, did we? We see them pull into an RV park where he tells the boys to get the gloves because they're going to empty the sewage system. As soon as I heard this, I knew that the prize, the bald eagle, the king of the throne, was going to jack this up at some point in time. I just was waiting for when it was going to happen. The boys are doing that. The wives are preparing food. We see Christine and Mary joking around. And then we see Cody telling the boys how to place this here and how to hold the release and how to do this and do that and make sure that this is in. And he says, you got to make sure that this is in because you don't want this venting out or you'll get that smell. He says he's delegating this responsibility to the boys in the mornings and in the evenings when they have to pack things up. They can do it, and if they do, it will go faster. I actually didn't believe that at first. In my notes, I was like, who actually believes that? I already told you that Cody doesn't do a lot. He makes it seem like he does, but he really doesn't. But we do know that at certain times, he did help. I don't know when those times were. Well, we saw one and then we saw another time and how that ended. So he had the boys do some part of it as well as him. It's the next day. They have to drive over 400 miles to get to halfway mark. Oh, excuse me. Apparently, Robin's kids stay with her in a hotel because Dayton says to Cody as he hugs him, good morning, the rooms were absolutely amazing, which I said, okay, so the moms and their kids stay in the room. I just thought before that like it's a sleepover type of thing, but I guess you only sleep over with your mom. Today is Truly's birthday. She is 4, and this is a special one because as we know, a year before, Truly almost lost her life from kidney failure. Cody says, no, Christine talks about how blessed they are about the whole situation and to have Truly around and how much things have turned around and how great it is. We then see Cody have a talk with all of them saying that he does not want to hear any complaining and whining. We've already heard this, Cody. How many times are you going to tell them this? Because you told them last show too. They go to eat at Route. Is it Route 66? I think it's Route or Route. Y'all, you can't tell me because I'm not going to understand. They went to the 66 for Truly's birthday. She opens her presents and she's really excited. They then leave for dinner and park, and it is snowing out and it's 30-degree weather. And looking at the kids, I already knew that they weren't dressed or prepared for 30-degree weather. They saw cool weather, so Cody says that they packed jackets and hoodies. Robin opens the door and yells, "Oh my gosh, no," very loudly. Cody shushes her and says, "We have neighbors," and she tells him she doesn't care. Robin reveals herself sometimes in moments like this, and rather than just owning it, what she does is she tries to excuse it. So what Robin says in confessional is that once she felt that cool air, she went from the bird she is to the monster, and she started freaking out. Okay, so she didn't so she didn't call herself the bird, but you get what I'm saying. She went from who she is to a monster and started freaking out. I just wish she would have been like, look, I had an attitude because it was super cold and I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't like the fact that he tried to shush me because I was cold. Just say you don't care or you didn't care because you were frustrated and cold. Now, remember, Cody had an entire pep talk with these young men about how to make sure that they connect the line and close off the valve and all this other stuff. And we see Cody, in his words, in the hurry because of the snow flurries, go outside, connects the pipe for the hose for the sewage system, and he did not make sure that the valves were closed properly. And as he's going to attach it to the RV, he gets sprayed with number 1 and 2. I gotta leave that alone. Ooh, I gotta leave that alone. Y'all, you would think I was there. You hear Hunter say, "Dad, push it." Good gracious, this is ridiculous. He then blames the kids and says, "You guys didn't close it this morning." Hunter says, "Yeah, we did." He's mad and says, "Someone did a dirty joke then," and pulled them out. Hunter, if you really did it, let me know. Because Hunter, when he was like, "Dad, push it in," Hunter looked like he had a little smirk on his face. But that had to be disgusting. Anyways, it's the next day, and they're on the road. The little kids are really excited about going to Missouri and meeting the other family. Ooh, that thought is still messing with me. They have 370 miles to do today, and they're going to the Big Texan, and they want to eat 72-ounce steak. Before they go, because Cody wants to be extra, they go to a gym where they're going to work out so that he can make sure that he has plenty of room for the 72-ounce steak, and he meets a young lady who did it. He tries to get some tips, and she says she just went into it. He said, how long did it take you to do it? She said, I had 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to spare. While he was talking, I could not help but notice that Cody did not have a six-pack at that point. And at this present time, he currently has what looks like a semi-big belly. I mean, pack. Where's your pack? These stops that they're making are supposed to be fun moments for the kids, but they seem really boring to me. As they sit down, Maddie says that she wants to do it. Janelle doesn't want the kids to do it. She's a little nervous because she says she's worried about them overdoing it and then get sick. I want to know who's paying for the steak because we all know that they're not going to finish. They sit on this platform at the top of the restaurant that's basically on a stage where the gentleman announces that Cody, David, Hunter, Garrison, and Madison will be competing in this competition. If they do not compete it, they owe $72. That's $360 without tax. It's a 4.5-pound steak with potatoes and shrimp. Hunter is bragging because as they're eating, he feels like he ate a third of it and he's already further than everybody else there. Now, Hunter, I love you, boo, but I saw that steak and I knew it wasn't going to happen. They talk about Maddie's willpower, the moms do, as they see her eating there, and how determined she is when she starts something and how she'll finish it. Then you have Mary up there saying, that's a lot of meat. I don't feel like you even made a dent in it. Cody is trying not to gag. It's amazing how he is gagging off steak, but he didn't gag off of the whole sewage thing. Garrison stops halfway because he doesn't want to make himself sick. None of them accomplished the goal, which means that they just spent $360 on just that, not even including everybody else's food. As I said, maybe TLC paid for it. Robin thinks that the meat is disgusting, but she's super proud of Dayton being up there and trying it out because unlike everybody else, he never quit. Dayton didn't really put a big dent in his thing, but we're going to give him credit for staying with it and not quitting, I guess. No, let me not say I guess like that. If that was my child and my child tried to do something and they didn't accomplish it, but they still didn't quit, I would be proud too. I can't do that. Yeah, that wasn't right of me. I got to give credit for that too. Robin wasn't being any different than any other parent in that moment. Man, I hate saying I'm wrong. Christine thinks that they did a lot of fun stops and she feels like this will be very memorable, this moment here. Her idea of fun is different from mine because it did not look fun. It's the next day. They circle up for family prayer. This is Janelle's version. Garrison, who sees Isabel 10 years old, dancing around. Janelle claims that as a result of seeing her dance around, that he was just triggered. And rather than saying, like, can we just, pray, instead he lashed out and he got angry. Janelle has a very interesting way of saying things. Some of you, as I said earlier, may get mad at me, but Garrison was a brat. Like, we don't need to, let's call things what they are and stop with all the niceties. If he does something wrong, he does something wrong. He wasn't triggered. He was annoyed. He was annoyed because y'all were running late and he wanted to go. And even though this is something that y'all do all the time, he was really bothered by it. And he got annoyed with Isabel for dancing around. Now, if the parents didn't say anything, it really wasn't Garrison's place to say anything. But this goes back to part of the problem is they have these kids check each other a little too much. We hear him say, Isabel, stop being stupid. Janelle says, Garrison, you stop being stupid. He says, I'm not being stupid. I think it was Janelle. It was a bunch of people that said the word stupid, but I think it was Janelle because he was looking at Janelle when he was having the conversation. He then explains that because Isabel was goofing off, she was prolonging the prayer, and they were already late, so he was frustrated. Cody says, I know that I've earned respect, so make sure that you give that same respect to everybody else. Hunter looks at his father and says he was the one being so rude to everybody, not me, because he was directing it up to Hunter at the time. He says, I was trying to stand up for Isabel. He's told by his mother, Hunter is, that Hunter made it worse by commenting. Like Hunter was the only person. He was not the only person who commented. And she says, no, not she. Cody says, all this does is accelerate things. Hunter raises his hand. He's like, I'm done. Like, I'm waving the white flag. 1 minute they want their kids to protect their siblings and act like little mini parents. And then the next they want to scold them for protecting their siblings and acting like mini parents. I don't like this scene. And part of the reason may be because they're coming down on my favorite child, Hunter. But I didn't feel like it's right. I feel like Garrison was not right in what he did. He shouldn't have addressed her. One of you all should have addressed her, and that's not what happened. Hunter in confessionals then says, Isabel was being her normal self. Everybody was fine. He looks at Garrison and says, you were being a little baby and you snapped. Garrison says, well, we were late. And Peyton looks over and says, but we're always at least an hour late. And he goes, it wasn't an hour, it was 2 to 3 hours. And Peyton goes, well, us being an hour late is decent for us the way we are. Hunter says, you were really rude, and that's all I'm going to say about it. And Garrison, in that moment, even though we know this is after the event happened and they're doing the confessionals, he said he doesn't feel like he was rude. Janelle then tells Garrison, you can't ride in the RV and you need to apologize. That boy, as I just said, had no desire to apologize because he doesn't feel like he did anything wrong. Cody then approaches him and makes him stand at the door of the van and says, you apologize to Christine Truly and Mindy right now. Christine says that when it comes to the kids, if both of her kids are getting into it, she disciplines them or scolds them or whatever from beginning to end. She handles the situation. But in instances like this where it's her child and one of the other mom's child, that she doesn't get involved, she allows for the mother and the father to come up with whatever discipline or whatever it is that they're going to do. But she does feel like at some point, once you're done with all of that, that apology needs to be given. They say that part of the reason why they do this is to back each other and show a united front. In the book, what we're told is that if one of her kids does something wrong, that Robin doesn't want anybody to deal with them. She just wants you to wait, call her, let her know, and let her deal with it. In the beginning, we were told by Christine, Janelle, and Mary that they handled each other's children in whatever capacity if one of the other moms wasn't around. So I wonder when it got switched to this. He later tells Isabel that he's sorry. They pull over for lunch on the side of the road. And Robin comes up with the idea for them to go down the hill on the plates. the kids laugh. It makes Isabel feel better, which Christine appreciated, and it did lighten the mood. They are still 100 miles away from meeting this biblical polygamous family. And Christine is nervous and she isn't really comfortable about it because they've never met these people and they're a little apprehensive. But even though they haven't done this and they've taken all this time, they're going to go and they're going to see this family who obviously wanted to not only meet the Browns, but in my opinion, be on TV. But I don't know because I don't remember this episode. So we'll see what happens for the next one. You guys, I do not know what is going on, but in a matter of a day, and I'm not exaggerating, in a matter of a day, I have gained over 100 subscribers. That is insane to me. And the way this is going, I'm going to make that goal, baby. It's right around the corner. And I am so appreciative. Thank you so much for everyone that shared the video, liked the video, commented on the video, watched the video. It means a lot to me and I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great holiday because I'm thinking that this is going to be out on Christmas Eve. Enjoy the time that you have with your family if you're around your family. If, like me, you're not surrounded by a lot of family because I have to go to work the day after Christmas and my family is far away. Cherish your friends if you have the ability to be around them. Anyone that could kind of uplift your spirits a little bit. I know it's not easy. I know sometimes it's hard, but you got this. Until next time.